Hey guys, I'm Brogan. Today in this video, we're going to unbox, demo, and review this mini PC right here. This is the MinisForum NAB9 Plus Elite Mini PC. This mini PC right here offers the Intel Core i9 12900 HK processor. That's 14 cores, 20 threads, speeds of up to 5 gigahertz on here. We have 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, a 1 terabyte SSD installed within running Windows 11 Pro, and we also have the Intel Iris Xe graphics on board as well. So really excited to dive into this. We're going to do exactly that. We'll open this up. We'll take a look at the layout and design of this mini PC. We'll also dive into a wide range of games on here to test out where the performance lies here. Let's dive into it. All right, so we've got a user manual right here on top. I'm going to set that aside. Here's our mini PC. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside just for the time being. I want to see what else is included in here first. All right, so we've got ourselves a mounting bracket here with the set screws included. We've got an HDMI cable. There's a good amount of length on here. This is actually longer than what we typically see with mini PCs. A lot of times you only get like 1.5 feet, 2 feet. This looks like at least 3 right here, which is great. We have a SATA connection right here. The little foam piece that protects the end has just kind of come off in the little baggie here, but that's good. That means that we're going to be able to actually install this within our mini PC. So there we go. That's the little rubber end that just keeps that connection from getting damaged in transit there. But these definitely come in handy, especially as a retro gamer. I love to take these, install them within, and then I have extra storage capacity to my mini PC, or I could bring in like a Batocera game drive right from within the actual unit. So here we have some additional set screws right here. Those will actually be probably to secure an SSD or hard drive in place within. You can usually get like a 2.5-inch SSD installed within there. 2-part power supply cable right here. Both parts come together like that. This goes into the outlet. This goes directly into your mini PC. And let's just check the voltage on here. Looks like 19 volts. Yep, very nice. All right, let's take a look at the mini PC itself here. Now, first thing I notice is that right there. That's how we actually access everything within. But before we dive into that, I love that design. I've seen that on several other mini PCs from MinisForum. It's the only one that I've seen, the only brand that I've seen use that. But we're going to dive into that in a second. I want to first look at the ports on here. So this entire unit is all metal. I love that. Very durable, very well made. Not cheap plastic or anything that's going to get dinged up or damaged if we were to drop this, for example, which, let's face it, does happen sometimes. So we have 2 USB 3 ports right here in the front. We also have our audio jack connection right there in the front as well. Power button down here on the far side. If we take a look at the sides here, we have great ventilation on either side, but all of our ports are going to be found on the back side right here. So here on the back side, we have 2 USB-A ports right here. We have an HDMI port right above that. We have an Oculink right below the HDMI port. I love Oculink. I think that's a great find for mini PC. There's not many mini PCs out there that are offering that. MinisForum has definitely brought that into the mix on a lot of their latest models of mini PCs, but this one you don't have to install yourself. The other ones that I've reviewed in the past, you always have to install them yourself. It's not a big deal at the end of the day. You open this up, you slide it in inside, and it obviously lines up on the outside here where you have the port connection. But this is already ready to go. We don't have to install anything here, so I love that. We have 2 Ethernet connections right here. We have a display port. We have a USB 4 port right here, which is obviously Type-C, and then we have our power supply connection right there on the end. So here's the power supply cable, connects in there just like so. Very straightforward. So we have triple display capabilities here. I love that. That is really cool. But now this is what I noticed right out of the gate here. You'll notice that there's these 2 little push indicators on here. Now this is just a sticker across the top here. You can easily peel this off. I'm not going to, but you can see where I've just kind of peeled up the corner. Just remove that if you want. I'm going to leave it on there. All you have to do is you have to push this side. You see how that releases right here. Push this side, it releases right there, and boom, you're able to access everything inside of your mini PC right here. The cooling fan is going to be down here on the bottom. You can see the ventilation down here for that. If you wanted to access this, you would just remove all 4 of these rubber feet right here, and you'd have some set screws underneath those to open everything on the bottom component here. bottom compartment, I should say. Up here on the top, this is where you can access everything else. So if you want to make changes to your RAM, for example, you go right in here, you can do that. If you want to mess around with your storage capacity, you can do that right here. Now we notice that, where is it? Here we go. We have our SATA connection right here. Now notice the bottom side of the top cover here. This is perfectly aligned where you can put an SSD right in place here, or a hard drive. In fact, I have one right over here from when I was filming my last video. Take a look at this. 2.5-inch SSD right here. This is it's the FICWAD. I think this is 1 terabyte. Yep, 1 terabyte right there. So this actually has my Batocera hard drive already on here, or excuse me, my Batocera build for a hard drive or SSD already installed on here. So all I'd have to do is just simply line it up right on here. You'll notice that there's 4 screw holes here, and they line up perfectly with the screw holes on the actual SSD. And they've even provided those screws to screw it in place right here. So all we have to do is secure one in each of those. It's going to lock this SSD on the underside of the top cover. And then here's our connection. So SATA connection is going to go right in there. You see how that connects? And then this is going to drop right into the board. And I'll show you where that connects. That connects right here. So we do have to move this cable over ever so slightly. We'll drop this down in place just like so. There we go. That is secured in the board. Again, there you go. You see how that lines up. The only thing you have to worry about is this cable connection right here. You don't want to pinch that. So make sure you have it lined up properly. We'll go ahead and drop that in place here. Push one side. Once you have it lined up in place, you go ahead and you push one side in, you push the other side in right there, and that's all locked in place. Now you have your SSD installed within here. You have the included 1 terabyte SSD installed already with Windows 11 on it, and you're good to go. You can dual boot right into either, in this case, it would be Linux, which is the Batocera SSD, or you go right into Windows. You have either option with a setup like this. So really exciting the way that this is laid out. I love how easy it is to access everything on here. You don't have to unscrew things or go through a tedious process. It's very straightforward. So we're going to fire this up. We're going to jump into a bunch of games, test out the performance here. Let's get started.
This victory strengthened the soul of Maxi. You win! Battle 2, fight!
You win.
Caution ahead. Medium right.
All right, guys, we jumped into the MinisForum NAB9 Plus Elite Mini PC here today, and I love this layout and design. I've seen it before in past models from MinisForum, and I hope I continue to see it in future models because to open this up is literally that simple. It takes a second to do, and for me, I love using Batocera. And I oftentimes will take a 2.5-inch SSD like this and I'll hook it up externally, which doesn't look pretty by any means. It takes a compact setup and complicates it. It makes it look, quite frankly, like a mess. But now I can go ahead and I can install this internally into this mini PC, and I have dual capabilities with the mini PC. I can boot up into Windows 11 Pro and go through, use it as a work PC if I want to. I can even game that way with RetroBat, Launchbox, etc. Or I can boot into my Batocera SSD right here, and I can have a Linux experience here. I can do whatever I want, but I can all have it situated right inside here, so it still looks just like this. So this could be a game console and a mini PC all in one. Love that. Now, this is extremely well made. High quality construction to this. We have lots of great port offerings. We have the two USB 3s in front, which is a must for me because I like using a wired controller still if I'm going to be playing, immediately around my mini PC, which in most cases I am. Love the fact that we also have the OcuLink. The OcuLink is very uncommon in mini PCs, though we are starting to see it integrated into more and more models from MinisForum. We also have triple display capabilities between the HDMI display port as well as the USB 4 port on the backside. So you can get 3 different displays up and running at the same time via those 3 different options. We have 2 additional USB-A ports in the back. They're not USB 3, but still great for connecting a mouse, keyboard, etc. So this has everything that I need as a gamer, but I immediately went to the specs. I looked at the Intel processor, and I'm still stuck in the train of thought of Intel isn't as good as AMD. And at the end of the day, I'd probably still lean towards an AMD processor over an Intel, but this Intel processor here, the Core i9 12900 HK processor, 14 cores, 20 threads, speeds of up to 5 gigahertz is incredible. It really packs a punch. It's super high end, very reliable here. And then we also have the Intel Iris Xe graphics, which I don't think are on the level of the AMD Radeon 780 graphics, 780M graphics, but it's pretty close. And you saw that with the demos today. I thought we were going to have, some issues with performance, and we didn't. We jumped into everything from, the basics, and I tried to focus on the more demanding stuff here. So we jumped into some N64, we kicked it up to GameCube, we kicked it up to Wii U, eventually worked our way up to PS2 and PS3. No issues whatsoever there. So from PS3, I went into AAA titles, and AAA titles perform very well on here. I'm not saying this is going to play the latest game that came out yesterday perfectly. At the end of the day, this model isn't intended to rival a full-scale gaming PC, but it does have gaming PC capabilities here. And we have a great performance directly associated with this product. So this is priced at $500. It's worth every penny of that based on what you guys saw here today, in my opinion. We also have the great layout, which just is an added bonus as well. So let me know what you guys think of this option right here, the MinisForum NAB9 Plus Elite Mini PC. Would you spend $500 on something like this? What do you think about this option to access everything internally, to add additional storage capacity to it, to bring in a separate Batacera, SSD in my case? Let me know what you guys think of the layout and design of this. Let me know what you guys think of the performance. And let me know what you guys think about the price point. Would you spend $500 on this, which is the price? I think it's like $509 with tax at the time of this recording. Prices do fluctuate though, so bear with me on that. Sometimes you'll check and the price is $500. Next you'll check it's $450 if there's a crazy sale going on. So you never know. But I think that's a fair price point in my humble opinion. So let me know what you guys think in the comments of this video. If you enjoyed this video today, please give me a thumbs up. And of course, hit subscribe to stay in the loop for all future videos here on the Chase Brogan YouTube channel. And if you'd like to support the channel a little bit more, click any of the Amazon links in the description of this video. You never have to buy anything that I'm reviewing in my videos. But if you click those links before you place a everyday Amazon order, it does help the channel out. Thank you guys so much for your time. I'll see you on the next one.